Next on the Broadway Show, we're going all in with Renée Elise Goldsberry, one of the stars of the new Broadway comedy about love. Plus, they're Broadway's best frenemies. We're hanging out with the two leading ladies from Death Becomes Her, and the stars of the upcoming new Broadway play, English. I'm Tamsen Fadal, and this is the Broadway Show. The Broadway Show gets bigger and better every week. I'm Tamsen Fadal, and you've come to the right place for the brightest stars, biggest shows, and amazing musical performances. Here we go. John Mulaney, Renée Elise Goldsberry, and more Broadway and comedy favorites are coming back to the New York City stage. It's all in comedy about love. I caught up with Renée Elise Goldsberry at the Skylark. So you are all in.
I am
right
all
now.
in, all in. It's wonderful. It's this amazing comedy. These wonderful stories that were originally published in The New Yorker by Simon Rich, who is a fantastically hilarious and touching writer from SNL. He's done so many other things. And the cast, rotates. So right now it's me and John Mulaney and Fred Armisen and Richard Kind, and I kind of feel like I'm just name dropping.
I know, this is the time to name drop.
Boom, boom, and then it continues.
Okay.
I mean, I'm the girl now, but then we have Chloe Fineman, then we have Adie Bryant, then we have Annalie Ashford, oh my God, then we have Lin-Manuel Miranda, Jimmy Fallon, Nick Kroll, David Cross, Andrew Rannells, Tim Meadows. Did I miss anybody? I think I got everybody.
That was really good.
Yeah.
That's an amazing cast.
It is, and just to say they rotate, so I'm only in with the first three gentlemen, but there's
you have a fun cast,
I have
too.
a really fun cast, and I have to add there is also a musical element, because it slays me. There's a wonderful band on stage playing music by the Magnetic Fields, this awesome band that was the inspiration for the love stories that Simon has written. So he literally wrote them inspired by these songs from one of their albums called 69 Love Songs, I believe.
Okay.
And the Bangsons, oh my God, they are on stage singing, and my heart is broken. They are so phenomenal. I'm just like,
I love the idea of a rotating cast, though. Is that because they wanted everyone to do it for just a set amount of time? And you said yes, I'm sure, when you saw this right away.
I did, actually, because it's like a hang.
Yeah.
I mean, and it even feels like a hang on the set. It feels like, it feels like this. We're sitting in chairs, we have these binders, and we have this band, and we have illustrations from Emily Flake from The New Yorker. Which is beautiful because these stories were originally published in The New Yorker, and now they have this space on Broadway, and it's kind of your senses are just, really just satisfied in all areas.
I feel like this is the time of year for a show like that. Love, who we spend time with, relationships. You can always see yourself. I think everyone sees themselves in something like that on stage.
Well, my 22nd wedding anniversary was last night.
Oh.
And I was thinking about, how hard it would be when I'm this close to sitting in a chair reading these the most beautiful love stories ever told. And I'm only telling you that when you come see the show, you're gonna laugh because they are the quirkiest, weirdest love stories you've also ever heard. In the hands of a comedic writer to celebrate love it's really special. But to do it and to not feel like I had any access to it in my own life would be a little different. I think this is very inspirational and very, it makes you feel like, love is something that we are all entitled to and that we can actually have.
If you want to see more of my interview, head over to Broadway.com for an extended cut. We're taking a look at another one of the amazing shows soon to be headed to Broadway. It's English, the new Broadway production of the Pulitzer Prize-winning play. It's a comedy that takes place in an English language classroom in Iran. We got to know the stars.
On the outside, it's a comedy that takes place in a TOEFL classroom. I play the teacher. There's 4 students prepping for this TOEFL test, and it gets a bit derailed. But I think at its heart, it's about longing and communication and the power of language and who we are and what defines us in the way that we speak and our voice.
The humor sort of Trojan horses, a lot of heartbreak and a lot of, the difficulty of not being understood and not really feeling like you have a place to belong in this world. Whether you are actually, you know, an immigrant or from another place, or you're struggling with another language, or just not feeling like you belong. So I think that's a really special thing that this show brings.
Storytelling holds a mirror up to society, what it is, what it can be, its dark spots, its light spots. And I think it shows a group of people that usually are not represented in this particular way. And it shows their humanity in their fabulousness, in their humor, in their anger, in their joy, all of those full human experiences, and shows them in a very different way than these people have been represented before.
Audience goers are going to find a great access to these characters, and you don't have to have learned a new language or be an immigrant to empathize with these characters and actually see yourself in these characters.
There's something about being with other Middle Easterners, Iranian Americans. I'm Lebanese originally. So to be on Broadway in English, a play about language and identity that resonates with me, and I think with all the cast, about what it means to speak a language that's not your mother tongue, etc., is an incredible and rare opportunity. So I think we're just like, there's so much joy in us that is hard to, you know, to just express. Yeah.
I'm the daughter of 2 Iranian immigrants who do not speak English as a first language, and I have had a front row seat to the way we treat people who speak with an accent or stumble over their words. So it was important to me to express my frustration, and like this play kind of was a scream into the void. But you know, it became something like softer, like creating this play with these actors and this team like transformed that anger for me. So just that something that was created out of pain has given me so much.
Death Becomes Her is casting a magical spell on Broadway audiences. Paul Wontorek caught up with Broadway's best frenemies, Megan Hilty and Jennifer Simard.
Hey ladies, I'm so thrilled you're back on Broadway together. How's it feeling to be launching this major Broadway musical?
I still don't really believe that it's real. Like, I know that we're all dressed up and we're having a fabulous time here today, but like, it's so grand and it's so wonderful, and so many elements of this, what you see on stage and what we experience off stage, are fabulous. So I'm still pinching myself every day.
This is also one of those titles, and you've both been in musicals like this, based on a movie that everybody's like, that should be a musical, right? You've been through that before, and this is one of those, right? I'm sure you experience this all the time in your like regular life.
Oh yeah, I think I still have the ticket stub from when the movie came out somewhere.
Really?
Yeah, and I think everyone knew this would make a great musical, and I'm happy to report that not only is the movie as exceptional as it is, but what these writers and artists collectively have done to translate it to stage is one for the books. Isn't it really wonderful?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, because it's one of the most iconic movies ever made. But what they've done is taken that and made it completely its own, while paying homage to what's been done before us. I'm really thrilled for people to experience it.
So these characters, Madeline, Helen, wow, they're a lot.
What makes you say that?
I mean, these are women who live very large, right? And they're very large characters to inhabit. But you also have to make them very human and build these real human relationships. I think you're doing that beautifully. What is it like, that balance? Because you do get to be extremely broad in the show as well.
I don't know, because it does feel like I'm waiting for somebody to say, no, that's too much. Like, please don't do that. But I love that we have this space where we get to do that.
Yeah.
And inherently, like, you have to bring yourself to it, otherwise it's not real. So I don't know technically what that is, where that, like, how to put words to that balance, but it is very much at the center of what we're doing.
You have to know that even when you're using the largest brush stroke, that it has to be based in something real. And sometimes you can go in with a fine brush stroke, and usually, to Megan's point, if you bring yourself to it, it's always going to be grounded if you work from the inside out. So even the broadest things are based in truth. I think we're both really good at listening to each other on stage and talking with our eyes, and I really appreciate that as your scene partner.
Yeah.
That keeps it honest, even when we're doing the most ridiculous things.
Yeah.
Emmy and Golden Globe winner Darren Criss back on Broadway in Maybe Happy Ending. It's a new musical about two lonely robots in South Korea and a chance encounter that leads to friendship and maybe more. The show also stars Helen J Shen. That's why she's this week's Fresh Face.
Hi, I'm Helen J Shen. I'm making my Broadway debut in Maybe Happy Ending. I played Gretel when I was 5 years old, and after that I was like, this is my calling. I have to do this. Music was always in the house. Mostly classical music was playing, but my mom made sure that I was educated in the Les Mis 10th anniversary concert. So the Lea Salonga Eponine is really important to me. Les Mis in general is very important to me. I think coming from a classical music background, there was always this desire to kind of push boundaries, to kind of do something new, do something different. Growing up, I didn't always see shows and roles that I could immediately slot myself into. And so I think that rebellious phase comes from, I haven't been seeing the things that I want to do. So how can I do them still? And maybe pioneer a path forward that maybe people haven't seen before. This music, the first time we did it in rehearsal was goosies all over, full body chills. Like, even as a theater fan, I would be excited about this show regardless of even me being in it. I'm just having the best time.
This is a Broadway show, and we're back in just a few. Welcome back to the Broadway show. I'm Tamsen Fadal, so let's get back to it. The Hills of California is a new play from Jez Butterworth. Here's Beth Stevens with another edition of Building Broadway.
Thanks, Tamsen. Tony winner Jez Butterworth's The Hills of California, starring Olivier Award winner Laura Donnelly, is on Broadway after a celebrated London run. I sat down with a real-life couple to talk about their latest collaboration. The last time you two were on Broadway was with The Ferryman, and that was very much inspired by Laura's family, and it feels to me that this was more inspired by your family, Jez. Is that the case?
Yeah, I think some bits of it were inspired by your family. I think the whole idea of a troop of children being drilled to fulfill a task that wasn't perhaps top of their list of things to do, it comes from her side. But the rest, the rest.
Are you referring to some kind of dancing that you did as a child?
Dancing, gymnastics, all sorts of family endeavours.
I used to refer to Laura's family as the family muck trap.
Oh, wow. Lots of performing.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, the rest of it I think is pretty much a hodgepodge and a stew of all sorts of pain, trauma, and loss from my side of the equation. Yeah.
Well, you said that with a smile, but it is about something very traumatic and very emotionally deep. Tell me about accessing that, both of you, that kind of emotion.
That's the best part of acting. It's the reason that I wanted to be an actor in the first place. So the more available, the deeper that you can be driven by the writing, the better. And I'm always looking for kind of where the greatest depth in the play for whichever character I'm playing is, and then kind of judge everything else from there. But gosh, it's just become so part of my job over the last couple of decades that I don't think of that as in any way unusual or tricky to do or anything like that. It is the job.
It's a funny thing, it's always hard to remember, and whenever it feels like I'm trying to kind of whistle it up again, it feels almost like I'm counterfeiting it, but I know it had things to do with the death of my sister and us gathering for what was a long drawn out process there of her death from cancer in 2012. I know that it has a lot to do with things that happened to me early on in life. You know, I have 4 daughters, and there are 4 daughters in this family. I think that sometimes I'm upstairs dying, and sometimes I'm downstairs attending the death, like in a dream where you're suddenly different characters. And whenever I embark on trying to explain where this comes from, it's like I still genuinely don't really know why it is like when a songwriter sits down to write a song, I'm pretty sure they don't have like bullet points of things that they need to cross off and go through from their own life. It's kind of like a waking dream.
Laura, you play two characters, but the mother character is a bit of an ambitious woman, and in this current era of momagers and, you know, mama roses, she has more humanity to her that you found. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, I think that is because the emotion of the story is not based on somebody who wants her children to be famous. It's somebody who wants her children to be safe and to have a better life than she did. Her blindness to the risks around that means that she makes a crucial decision which has such a knock-on effect for her relationship with her daughters and for the lives of the daughters after that. But I don't think that it's based around the stage and fame. It's based around that decision and those relationships and the consequences.
You are writing mostly women characters here. Did you find it easy to get into the heads of the women? I mean, you are surrounded by women in your life.
I am, and I don't remember the moment where they all were women. Like, it's an odd thing. So when a play idea forms in my head, it is like a doorbell rings and you open it and there's characters standing there and you decide whether or not you're going to let them in. And in my first play it was 6 men, and in this play it was 8 women, and I'm not really sure why they come to the door. They don't come to the door often enough for my liking, but when they do, I let them in.
It takes a whole lot of people to keep a Broadway show running, from the stars on stage to the orchestra in the pit and all the people working behind the scenes. Our man Perry is on the town.
So we are backstage of the Gershwin in the stage management office with the lady herself, Sel. This is crazy. The emotion, the energy. We're about to start a show. So tell me how you came to Wicked.
So I graduated college, and my first gig, I would say, was to be an intern for Mary Beth, who is the production stage manager at Wicked. She was here when I was an intern more than 10 years ago. And I went to do many shows. I was on the road when I was 20s. I went to 42 states, I think, in America, because I did a lot of tours. Then I came back to New York City, and my lovely friends, 2 lovely stage managers, decided to leave Wicked after a pandemic. I was the luckiest person at the time that they chose me to be a part of this production, and I feel very lucky still.
So a show as massive as this, I mean, you've got flying bubbles, you've got, you know, flying witches. You've got all sorts of things going on, and you're there, you know, kind of running the whole rehearsal. Is that extra pressure?
Oh, yes, every day. Every day there's the extra pressure because this show is so loved by everybody. Every day I start the show and I was like, you know what? I was that girl. I really loved this show. So I feel a little pressure that I need to do a good job for the audience or the girl I was like 20 years ago. Pretty much we have a great day and then we have fun at work, yeah.
That's wonderful. I always say, you know, it might be your 200th time doing it, but it's some audience member's first time to do it.
Exactly.
Wicked brings that magic.
Absolutely. In a day, I can get to see the audience when I walk through the house, and when I see them excited and they have playbills, their smiles, drinks in their hands. That's the good reminder. That's the reason why I'm doing this job. And I need that reminder sometimes. Yeah.
All right, I might be as much of a fangirl of Wicked as you are. Do you mind showing me around?
Oh, I don't mind it at all. I can show you the calling station where we call the show.
Let's do it.
Okay.
So this is actually where the magic happens. This is where you call it from.
Yes, this is where we call. It's fantastic. We have a view of the stage right here. We don't have to use a monitor, but we have the monitor.
So how many cues are you calling out of this thing? How many light cues are there in this show?
So we have almost 300 cues.
Almost 300 light cues, and that's not talking about the automation and all the
no,
magic.
Because we would flip these switches for automation and autofly and then rail. But yeah, we have 300 cues for lights.
Just remarkable. So I know how amazing and wonderful this show is to me, but I gotta ask you, I normally say, what does Broadway mean to you? But it is the 20th anniversary of Wicked. What does Wicked on Broadway mean to you?
It really means everything to me. I know a lot of people say their favorite show is Wicked, but mine is Wicked. I was listening and singing along with their original cast member, album. I was translating English to Japanese, the Wicked lyrics, just because I loved it so much. And I think if I didn't meet Wicked when I was middle school, I don't think I would be here, meaning I don't think I would have chosen this profession without Wicked.
That's going to do it for us, but until next time, check out The Broadway Show Uncut, wherever you get your podcasts. I'm Tamsen Fadal, and this is The Broadway Show.